Hello, we are from Beloit College's Theater and Dance Department. My name's Marina.
My name is Alicia.
My name is Julia.
My name's Shelby.
And we're here today to do improv with and for you. So, what is improv? Improv is something that happens in live theater. So when you go to a theater and you sit in seats and you look at the stage, the people that come on stage are actors. Improv is a thing that actors can do either as a performance by itself or as a way to get ready for a performance. Improv can be a really fun thing to watch, but also to participate in. But like with any performance or with any sport, you really need to practice ahead of time. So we're giving you some improv games that you can try at home with your family in order to prep for your improv performances. One of the first rules of improv is yes and. Julia, what does yes and mean?
Yes and means that you're always going to agree with other people in the scene. We know that in real life, not everybody agrees all the time. But when you say something in an improv game, you're asking the audience and the other people in the scene to imagine it with you. So if I say, I see a big green tree, and then you say, I don't see any tree, I only see a bush. Now the audience and anyone else in the scene isn't sure what they're supposed to imagine. But if I say, I see a big green tree, and you say, yes, it's about 10 feet that way. Now the audience knows exactly what they're supposed to picture, and we can keep moving with our scene.
And Julia used a great word, imagination. A big part of what we do in the arts is use our imaginations, and that's something we'll ask you to turn on right now. Okay, so we're ready for our first improv game, and that is called One Sentence Story. For one sentence story, you'll need to ask someone around you for a topic. Julia, can you give us a topic?
Pets.
Pets. All right, our story is going to be about pets. There are 4 of us on this screen, and each person will give one sentence to build up this story using our imaginations. Each person will give one sentence, and it'll move on to the next person until finally the story is complete. Are you all ready to talk about pets? All right, Alicia.
Today, while walking through the forest, I found the most exciting thing that I think could be my new pet.
When I found it, it was in an egg. So I took it home and wrapped it in towels like a nest.
And then I put it under a bright light in the hope that it would hatch.
I'm not a very patient person, so I just kept staring at the egg, hoping it would hatch at any moment.
I just stared and stared, and then all of a sudden, I heard a noise.
It was a tiny beak cracking away at the egg and causing it to shatter.
Could you guess what I saw?
It was the biggest purple bird I've ever seen.
I'd never seen anything like this. It was so tiny and so cute, and it made the cutest little noise.
But then it opened its mouth and fire came out.
Just like a dragon.
Like the bird's feathers, which were purple, the fire that came out was purple too. But it wasn't hot like fire, it was cold.
I also noticed that the purple fire had sparkles in it.
My dog ran across the house because he was terrified of it.
But I couldn't get enough. Not only was it fire that was purple, cold, and sparkly, but it smelled like grapes.
I decided that this was going to be my new best friend. We are going to have many quarantine adventures together. So that is our story about pets.
So how are you doing the story?
All right, our next game is Mad Libs. For this game, one person will start to tell a story, and they will pause when they need information from the other person. They need this information from them because the other person's creativity will make the story even better. Julia and Shelby are going to do this game.
Once upon a time, my parents told me that I was going to be a big sister and that our family was going to have a new baby. But when they brought the baby home from the hospital and I looked at it, I saw that it was
A porcupine.
And I thought, hey, I'm not going to be a big sister to a porcupine. What's going on here? And my mom said, well, you have to be.
Flexible.
And I said, I know. They tell us all the time in school we've got to be flexible. But they didn't tell us anything about porcupine babies. Where did you get this thing? And she said, I got it from.
The girl next door.
And I thought, that's crazy. The girl next door raises chickens. She doesn't raise porcupines. So I put on my coat and I walked outside and I knocked on her door. But as soon as she opened it, she said,
Whoa!
and that was when I looked down and realized that I had become a giant porcupine. She slammed the door on me and I ran back to my house and ran into my parents' room and I said, hey, look at me. I look like
Spike!
Spike was the name of my baby brother Porcupine. And they said, well, it looks like you have more in common with him than you thought. The end.
Our next game is Gibberish Translator. For Gibberish Translator, we have one person who is not speaking any language that has been ever established. That means a sentence like ba ba boo ba. That is a sentence in Gibberish Translator. We can tell a lot, though, by what the person says next. So we'll have someone speaking gibberish, in this instance, Shelby, and I will translate what Shelby says. Then the person in the conversation with Shelby is Julia, and Julia will keep up a normal conversation in English that we get to hear. It's a fun way to practice having a conversation while still trying to discern what someone means. Let's see it. Alicia, what is our story going to be about?
Our story is going to be about fishing.
Well, here we are at Big Flounder Lake. What kind of fish do you think are in the water?
Because it's a big lake, I think there are going to be a lot of fish, but especially puffer fish.
Oh no, I heard that puffer fish are poisonous if you get poked by one. Do you think we'll be safe?
I don't know what kind of fishing you've done, but I don't intend to get anywhere near being poked by one of these things.
Well, if I'm being honest, the last couple of times I've gone fishing, I have fallen in.
What are you doing that you fell in? Stop being silly. We take fishing very seriously here.
It's just that sometimes I want to look real close at the fish, and they're all in the water. So sometimes I go to the edge of the dock, and I lean over to see, and then suddenly, I'm in the water.
All right, well, today you're going to learn an important lesson about looking at the fish once we brought it up towards our faces, not leaning down to the water.
Oh, that makes so much sense. I guess that's why we have these fishing poles and the fishing line.
You got it. You discovered the secret to fishing.
This is so exciting. Do you think I should write a book about fishing, seeing as how I'm an expert now?
And we don't know.
Not just yet. Let's see how today goes. And that's our story. Thank you for tuning in for 3 different improv games with us today. Now you can play these at home with your family, or once we're able to be a little bit closer to our friends, we can play them with our friends too. Have a great day.